Hi, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. Today I'm sharing with you the new releases of Christian fiction books that I could find that are releasing in June 2025. If you know of any more, please do leave them down in the comments. Also, let me know which of these books you think that you would like to read in the future at some point. I'm going to read out the descriptions. I've grouped them together into different genres so you can find them easily, and also linked the listed the books down below that I've mentioned so you can have a look back if you get them later on. In Mystery and Suspense, Where Secrets Lie by Coleen, Coble and Rick Ackerman releases on the 3rd of June and is published by Thomas Nelson. This is Tupelo Grove Book 2. College professor Savannah Webster is ready to give her ex-husband Hez another chance, and she believes he's finally ready for them to face their many past trials as a team. But when Savannah finds evidence that points to Hez's old demons resurfacing, the fragile trust they've built begins to crumble, and it's not just their relationship that's hanging in the balance. The survival of the university Savannah's family poured their lives into is also under threat. Hez is determined to put his past mistakes behind him with his new role mentoring law students at Tupelo Grove University's legal clinic. His primary focus with the clinic is to help Savannah pull the university out of a pit of debt and bad decisions made by the previous leadership, including her father, but their quest for stability takes a dark turn as they try to root out the dangerous smuggling ring the university is entangled in, and their investigation puts them in the crosshairs of criminals who will stop at nothing to eliminate any obstacle in their path. Burning Rivals by Voni releases on the 10th of June and is published by Sunrise Publishing. This is book 2 in the Chasing Fire Alaska series. Rescue, Danger, Devotion. This time their hearts are on the line. He lost the one person who meant the most to him, and she let it happen. Vince hasn't forgiven Katie for abandoning his father in the fire that took his life, but he's going to find out why. When he discovers the feds have a warrant out for his arrest, he knows he's being framed for crimes he didn't commit, and Katie might be the only one he can rely on to clear his name. Vince will have to confront his bitter past and put his unwavering trust in the woman who once shattered his heart. And Katie, well, she knows better than to open up her heart and trust to the man who hates her, but she needs him if she hopes to stay alive, so, it's going to be a long, hot summer. Burning Escape by Michelle Sass Aleckson releases on the 24th of June and is published by Sunrise Publishing. This is book 3 in the Chasing Fire Alaska series. She was born to fight fires. When Tori Mitchell said goodbye to the handsome stranger after her heart-stopping dance on her last night of freedom, she never expected him to wind up on the same Midnight Sun elite smoke jumper team. Now the two rookies are on the run through the Alaska backcountry, chased by militia men intent on stopping the Wildlands firefighters. Forced to rely on each other, Tori has to ignore the sparks between them if they're going to stay alive. Otherwise that spark will turn into a flame neither of them can put out. He's got something to prove. Born into a family legacy of firefighting, Orion Price is determined to prove his worth up in Alaska. One explosive evening on the dance floor with Tori threatens the only shot he has to step out of the shadow of his mistakes. He's going to take this shot to show his family and himself that he can be the man they believe he is. Orion won't risk his heart, even if survival in an isolated community means faking a relationship with Tori. Brace yourself for a high-octane, heart-pounding, inspirational thrill ride filled with real-life heroism, searing romantic suspense, and the restorative power of unrelenting grace. Echoes of Darkness by Darlene L. Turner releases on the 24th of June and is published by Love Inspired Trade. A serial killer stalks a small town, and a police officer must face her family's dark past to catch him. The sleepy community of Kenora Falls in northern Ontario seems to be somewhere Constable Oaklyn Brock can finally outrun her violent past. That is, until she's assigned to investigate a series of suspicious deaths. She can't reveal that she knows how serial killers think because she grew up with one. Yet the eerie similarities between these murders and those committed by her father, known as the Suicide Slayer, hint at a copycat in their midst. But why here and why now? Caleb Green of the Canadian Watchers Squad, a special task force, has his own reasons to be wary of working alongside Oaklyn, but with rumours of a local cult known as the Light Paragons gaining power, the stakes are too high to refuse. As they explore connections between the killings and cult, Oaklyn and Caleb are forced to confront old secrets and a terrifying new threat. Someone is watching Oaklyn's every move. They know exactly who she is and what she might be capable of, and soon her biggest fear isn't just having her past exposed, but that a killer will turn whatever days she has left into a living nightmare. In historical fiction, From the Valley We Rise by Elizabeth Musser releases on the 3rd of June and is published by Bethany House. Loyalty during peril in the heart of war-torn France, Isabelle Serve's resolve is tested when her father sacrifices his life to protect her involvement in the French resistance. Heartbroken, Isabelle becomes more dedicated to hiding Jewish children in and near the village of Sisteron, despite the growing danger when she discovers a traitor within the resistance ranks. Truth amid deception, as the shadow of betrayal looms, Isabelle's world collides with that of U.S. Army chaplain Peter Christensen, who carries emotional scars from his first position in Kentucky and his service in North Africa. Together they face the brutal reality of war as the second D-Day, the Allied invasion of Provence, unfolds. Bravery through trial, 15-year-old René Ambelard narrowly escapes a devastating German attack that claims the lives of his mother and their fellow Marquis fighters. With the Jewish orphan girl at his side, René seeks out his cousin Isabelle for refuge while he contemplates revenge. When the bombs of Operation Dragoon begin to fall, this unlikely group of heroes must find freedom in their souls before they can rebuild what has been destroyed. Of Silver and Secrets by Michelle Griep releases on the 3rd of June and is published by Bethany House. This is Time's Lost Treasures, Book 2. In 1889 England, Eva Inman finds herself overwhelmed with responsibility. Haunted by guilt over her parents' deaths, Eva struggles to care for her blind sister and manage her family's crumbling estate. With the threat of overdue taxes looming, Eva's situation grows dire until an ancient silver ring is unearthed on her property. Despite local superstitions warning against disturbing the supposedly cursed acres, Eva's need for funds forces her to consider the potential of more buried relics. She turns to Bram Webb, a Cambridge professor of Roman antiquities, for help, only to be reminded of a past she would rather forget. Bram Webb is under immense pressure to find proof of a legendary Christian Roman settlement in an attempt to conceal his uncle's deteriorating memory from the Trinity College Disciplinary Board and save both their jobs. When Eva steps into Bram's office, old sparks fly, rekindling memories that are both fond and painful. The excavation is fraught with challenges from the start, and as Eva and Bram work together with time running out, they must confront their pasts, face the growing attraction between them, and decide whether their love is strong enough to overcome the buried truths that threaten to tear them apart. The Lawyer and the Laundress by Christine Hill Suntz releases on the 10th of June and is published by Tyndale Fiction. Lawyer James Kinney isn't looking for love, and laundress Sarah O'Connor doesn't want to be found, but when their paths cross in a British colony on the brink of rebellion, a marriage of convenience may be their best hope of survival. Canada 1837. Widower James Kinney knows his precious daughter Evie needs more than his lessons on law and logic, but Toronto offers few options. Classes with the neighbours' children seem ideal until James discovers Evie is secretly spending time with Sarah O'Connor, a kind and mysteriously educated servant. For propriety's sake, James forbids their friendship, but when Evie falls victim to the illness ravaging the city, and James must call upon Sarah's medical knowledge and her special bond with Evie to save his daughter's life. When Sarah's presence in his household threatens scandal, however, James offers an unexpected solution, become his wife in name only, and help him raise Evie to be a proper young lady. If Sarah can ignore the spark she feels when they're together, his logical proposal could keep her secret secure forever. But soon the forces of rebellion unravel their tidy arrangement. When James is accused of treason, Sarah must find the courage to face a past that could save her husband's life. To Love a Beast by Karen Witemeyer releases on the 10th of June and is published by Hope and Light Publishing. This is the fourth book in the Once Upon a Time in Texas series. Beauty and the Beast in 1800s Texas. Once known among New York's elite as the American Adonis, Everett Griffin now lives as a recluse in the wilds of Texas. The treachery of a former admirer left his face and his spirit riddled with scars, so he hides himself away, his only companions a trio of trusted servants and an oversized dog. Locals whisper of the beastly man who lives in the gloomy manor outside of town and his tendency to attack anyone who dares approach. Everett relishes his fearsome reputation and uses it as a shield to guard his privacy, until a young woman, as stubborn as she is beautiful, infiltrates his sanctum and lays siege to his defences. When an injury to her father jeopardizes the family's bookbinding business, Callister Rosenfeld determines to fulfill the contract herself, and no insufferable client or woman-eating dog will deter her. Finding unlikely allies among Mr. Griffin's staff, Callister secures her position and sets to work transforming the manor's remarkable library. Her employer transforms as well, his ill-tempered growls subsiding to reveal a considerate intellectual nature. Affection blooms as Callister and Everett discover hidden depths in each other, but the evil schemes of a vengeful hunter threaten to leave their love and their lives in tatters. The Codebreaker's Daughter by Amy Lynn Green releases on the 17th of June and is published by Bethany House. Dinah Kendall's role in the US Capitol for the Office of Strategic Services is far from the thrilling espionage career she dreamed of. Instead of covert missions, she crafts rumors aimed at undermining Axis morale while trying to live up to the expectations of her demanding mother, Lillian. Yet as Dinah navigates her duties, she uncovers a startling fact. Lillian was once a codebreaker, breaking military ciphers during the Great War alongside some of the nation's most brilliant minds. The deeper Dinah dives into her mother's journal, the more the secrets of the past come to light, including the heavy cost of high-stakes codebreaking. Lillian, resolute in her decision to avoid war work, finds herself reluctantly drawn back into the fray when old acquaintances in Washington, D.C. seek her expertise. Even Dinah seeks her out, and the two must overcome their differences to work on an OSS cipher campaign to support Allied spies overseas. But just when Dinah begins to excel in her new position, she is implicated in a series of suspicious activities that cause others to question her loyalty. As she navigates a web of intrigue, she must piece together the truth in time to confront the shadowy threat that could compromise the impending D-Day invasion. Legends of Gold by Mary Connealy releases on the 17th of June and is published by Bethany House. After years of solitude, Tilda Muirhead's life takes an unexpected twist when she takes a position teaching at an orphanage on Two Hearts Ranch, following her cross-country pursuit of two brothers obsessed with a treasure map left by their adventurous grandfather. Tilda is now tasked with educating the mischievous brothers, who are bent on remaining out west until they find the hoped-for treasure. Then a man named Ben arrives, claiming to be her own long-lost brother. Raised as an orphan with no memory of her family, Tilda is both fascinated and wary of Ben's sudden interest in finding her. When Ben's motives grow increasingly suspect, rancher Josh Hart suggests Tilda and the brothers set off on a quest with him that aims to protect Tilda while unearthing the map's secrets. As they navigate the rugged wilderness, Tilda becomes captivated by the history behind the map, though she doubts it leads to anything more than old artifacts. Yet danger looms ever closer, and Tilda and Josh must rely on faith and their blossoming love to navigate the treacherous path ahead. In contemporary romance, Everything's Coming Up Rosie by Courtney Walsh releases on the 10th of June and is published by Thomas Nelson. Sometimes what you think you want and what you actually want turn out to be different things. Rosie Waterman has one goal to become a working actor, but lately that hasn't been working out. When she loses her apartment and her job on the same day, she does what she always does, puts herself out there, ready to find the next big thing. But a trip home makes her realise that while she's been struggling to make this dream come true, all her friends have become real adults with careers and weddings and babies on the way. Rosie's been at this for years and she has nothing to show for it, but how does she simply let go of her dream? When she's offered a job as the director of a regional theatre's production of Cinderella, she jumps at the chance, even though she's only directed in college and the job is in Door County, Wisconsin, and not in New York. She has no other offers, and at least she'll be getting paid to do something theatrical. But when she arrives, she quickly realizes that the regional theatre is actually in a retirement community, and the actors are actually senior citizens with no experience whatsoever. Working on the show presents new challenges, forcing Rosie to learn how to step up and be the leader this fledgling theatre troupe needs. The more time she spends with her new cast, the more she begins to rethink what it means to dream big, especially when that big dream hasn't turned out to be at all what she thought it would be. It's not at all what she expected, but could it be exactly what she needs? Meet Me at the Fudge Shop by Lindsay Harrell and Rachel D. Russell releases on the 17th of June and is published by Sunrise Publishing. Two rival families, one historic fudge shop, and a second chance at love neither of them saw coming. All Lily Hart wants is to prove she's not the failure everyone thinks she is. After a series of setbacks, including failing out of business school and losing her dream apprenticeship, Lily returns to Jonathan Island with one goal: to save her family's 74-year-old fudge shop and finally show the world she's a capable businesswoman. The island is starting to bounce back and Lily's determined to be part of its revival. But when she arrives, she finds a major setback. Her former high school sweetheart, Declan Kelly, is back too, and he's claiming the shop for his family. The Harts and Kellys have been bitter rivals for nearly 50 years, ever since Declan's grandfather started his own competing fudge shop. Declan's return isn't just about family pride, though. He's here to save his grandmother's house from foreclosure, and reopening the Kelly fudge shop is the only way to do it. With the lease in dispute, Lily and Declan strike a deal. Whoever sells the most fudge in 1 month gets the shop. Forced to share the space, sparks and old feelings begin to fly. Lily's creative flair and Declan's business acumen might just be the perfect recipe for success, if they can stop fighting long enough to realize it. But with Declan's future in Chicago and Lily's heart set on staying, can they truly find a way back to each other? Or will their family's long-standing feud and their own desires pull them apart for good? In contemporary fiction, The Atlas of Untold Stories by Sarah Brunsvold releases on the 17th of June and is published by Revell. Irrepressible dreamer Chloe Vance needs to tell her pragmatic mum, Edie, that she has accepted a low-paying 2-year art instructor role at a Christian international school in Prague, and her older sister Lauren, the irresponsible one, is doing all she can to keep the family from finding out she has been fired for a stupid mistake, plus figure out her next career move. Meanwhile, Edie, estranged from her own sister following their mother's recent death, is frankly in no mood for anything else to change. The one thing they can all agree on: life in books sure is easier to figure out than life in the real world. As the three women embark on a 9-day road trip to visit significant literary sites throughout America's heartland, they hope to find inspiration through the works and lives of literary greats. And as they experience firsthand the adventure and wonder of the classics, they'll come to terms with their own needs and desires, as well as those of the most important women in their lives, each other. In fantasy and sci-fi, Flight of Fate by Tricia Goyer and Nathan Goyer releases on the 10th of June and is published by Enclave Publishing. This is book 2 in the Clockwork Chronicles, so I'm going to read the description for book 1. When darkness falls, a new guardian emerges. Katerina Dubova has always aspired to walk in her father's footsteps as a respected journalist, and the Second World War presents a unique opportunity for her to prove her worth to the world. A tip about an assassination attempt on a high-ranking Nazi official, Reinhard Heydrich, the Butcher of Prague, leads Katerina into the shadows of the Nazi occupation. Soon she discovers things are not as they seem. As intrigue unfurls, Katerina joins forces with Joseph Lau, a descendant of the famous Rabbi Lau, renowned for creating a mystical guardian in the form of a golem to protect the souls of 16th century Jews in Prague. In the chaos of war, some believe a new golem can once again bring help to those in need. Like flickering candles in the abyss, Katerina and Joseph work to protect the innocent and end the evil that plagues their world, yet in their quest to save the Jewish people, have they inadvertently created a new danger? Could the very entity they had forged to protect become their greatest enemy? Awakened by Rosanna M. White releases on the 18th of June and is published by White Crown Publishing. Where sea and land meet, two worlds clash in a fury of wind and waves. Arden Blue has always known that her stepsister Jade was destined for great things. In a world where beauty follows magic, she has no doubt that their upcoming awakening ceremony will reveal that gorgeous, kind, compelling Jade is far more than a mere mortal. But when Jade is kidnapped by a mysterious sect of Myr on the eve of the newly returned King's Ball, Arden will do anything to save her sister, even face down the man she's always dreaded meeting because of the power he holds over her family. The man to whom her father swore loyalty but long before she was born, the Sea King. Sidon, the Sea King of Dariatla, has grown only more powerful as the centuries have gone by, but lifetime after lifetime have failed to give him what he most yearns, a family. He knows that it will take a woman of extraordinary power to match him, enough to create a child, and no such woman seems to exist, until he feels her magic calling to his one day in the water. And when Arden Blue, daughter of his most trusted official, arrives to tell him about her missing stepsister, he knows this Jade, with a new magic so coveted that the Myr would risk war with his kingdom to steal her away, may be the one he's waited centuries for. But how can he and the determined Arden ever hope to find one young woman trapped beneath the waves? Perhaps the great golden sea hawk who has guarded the sisters all their lives holds the key. In a world on the brink of war between the Myr and the land dwellers, friendship, faith, and love demand the ultimate sacrifice, as both kingdoms seek to unlock the prophesied magic waiting to spring, the magic of wind and sky. To the Myr it would mean the freedom to return to the land. To Sidon's court it would mean safety from every storm. But how can any human hand wield the wind? So those are all the books that I could find. Let me know which books you think you would read in the comments. I think the books I'm most likely to want to read are the books by Rosanna M. White and Karen Witemeyer, but let me know what you think would suit you and your tastes that you'd like to read. If you'd like to see any more videos about Christian fiction, you can watch these videos over here. Thank you so much. If you have subscribed, liked or shared any of my videos, I appreciate that greatly. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week, and I'll see you again next time. Until then, God bless. Bye.